Hi, I'm Don. Today we paint a couple of gnomes from Grimskald. After looking at the models, I decided that the focus of this video is the painting of the skin. I'll share with you quick tips and tricks on how to paint good skin and watch as we paint or turn these gnomes into this. Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my studio. This channel is supported by all these awesome brands. Also, this channel won't be possible without the support of my patrons. First, let's define what is good skin in miniature painting, in my opinion. Good skin in miniature painting, in my opinion, is having that very nice gradation of highlights and shades, and that combination would give you a very nice sense of volume in different areas of the skin. So once you can define very clearly the volume of the skin, the muscle parts, different elements, the cheekbones in the face, the nose of course, and once you really define that with your painting, then you have good skin painting. It doesn't necessarily have to be super smooth, like super flawless smooth, but of course smooth skin is good, especially in person and also in miniature painting. Using the airbrush for sketching your skin, like in this part we're doing the sketching part, and depending on your airbrush control is very good because the airbrush will always give you smooth transitions. However, it's kinda difficult once you want to define the highlights, the peaks of the skin with the airbrush, especially if you're painting small miniatures. You can airbrush the dark base color, which was the reddish skin, and now we're using medium flesh, but it's called raw meat with cuttlefish colors. So basically up to this color, you could use the airbrush. And the raw meat, this color that we're using right now, you could airbrush roughly mostly from the top and a little bit on the sides to create a zenithal and a zenithal effect and create a bit of volumetric, like a sense of volume to your skin painting. However, as the colors get lighter, I feel that most people doesn't really have that very good airbrush control. I highly recommend you switch to your brushes. First off, you have to really define where your highlight should be, like your source of light. So once you define your source of light, the more you could easily paint good skin. In terms of process, there are two ways to do very good skin painting. One is to do very detailed layering. By detailed layering, I mean you mix all your colors or you use so many colors that transitions to each other very well. So if you're using reddish flesh, you mix many variations of that before you go towards the next color. In that manner, you create good transitions. Another way is to paint with fat glazes, which is my style. You thin the paint with medium or water a little bit more to add transparency. And then you do basic layering. In this manner, you're painting with transparencies, your transitions will be better, but you don't really have to mix a ton of colors. Focus on painting, like really applying the good pre-highlight colors, the bright skin color, before you apply shades like what I'm doing right now in the video. Because shades are super easy to apply. You could use contrast paints or even washes. Just make sure to blend the edges so that you don't have coffee stains. So shades or darker colors are very easy to apply. So focus on layering up to your highlight colors. Another tip is that for lighter colors like fairy skin and white flesh and highlight skin, I'm talking about Vallejo Nocturna paints, as the colors or the paints get lighter, you have to thin them a bit more. By thinning the lighter colors when you're applying them with the brush, you do not produce that very chalky finish, which is very undesirable. In terms of the actual application of the paints, of the highlights and the shades, you could actually try to do stippling. Because stippling, if it will kind of let you to not blend too much because you create very nice subtle stippling or dotted textures, which from afar looks very nice and transitions to each color very well. So if you're still having a hard time doing glazes and thin glazes and fat glazes, use these thin paints, the thinned highlight colors and shades, and stipple them on the model. Needless to say, good skin painting in miniatures takes a little bit more time than usual. It took me roughly around 5 to 6 hours just for the painting of the skin of these two gnomes. So I could be slow, but I love skin painting so much in miniatures, and I think 6 hours for a couple is okay. Now before I reveal a ton of thanks to all my patrons, because without my patrons, this channel won't be possible. So let's summarize, although I did not say this in the first part of the video, but know your paints. Some paints are harder to glaze with, so you really have to know your paints, which are easier and better to glaze with if you plan to do glazes. Also, define your source of light. If you define your source of light, your painting would be easier because you're just really making sure that you build up towards your highlights. Also, when you use lighter colors, regardless of brand, you have to thin them a little bit more. Also, additional, when you're doing glazing, you have to let the previous layers dry before you apply more glazes, or else you're going to produce very, very nasty textures. And also, the addition of shades and stuff, that's super easy, but you could also try and experiment and stipple those shades. You will create nice, very subtle textures than just applying them normally. That's it, Pansit. I hope you liked the video and watch these other videos.